Hey, good people, how you doing? David Taub here with NextLevelGuitar.com. We're coming to you from NAMM 2019 Anaheim, and I have the pleasure of being here at the Boutique Amp booth, and I am with legendary amp builder, electronics guru, Mr. Mike Soldano. Mike, big fan, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, welcome. Hi fans.
We are so excited to be here and to hear about your story. And you know, I was so glad to hear that after you've been building with Soldano 32 years, to have that kind of legs in the business, and you're going to keep the brand going, because I know you didn't know if it was going to happen, if it was going to die. And tell me about that. What are your thoughts?
Well, basically, yeah, I know, by just conditions of life, right? Things happen. I came to a crossroads this year where basically my shop in Seattle was not sustainable. The cost of doing everything in a city like that that's now been infested with tech business has driven up the cost to where a small manufacturing business such as my own is very, very hard to sustain there. And so the last couple of years have been extremely difficult because the overhead has just been constantly going up. So the long and short of it, I had basically three choices. I could have moved outside of the area and set up a new shop and just kept doing what I've always done. But at 62 years old, I really just didn't have the energy to do that.
You didn't want to totally start over again at 62?
No, not at 62. I mean, if I was still in my 40s, hell yeah, let's do it, man. Let's get the trucks, let's do this old school, let's build some benches and set it all up again. So that was a non-starter of an idea. So the second idea was, well, I could simply put my brand to bed, go into retirement, and it was a nice run, and I'm proud of everything I've done. However, having invested, so I've been in business as Soldano Custom Amps for 32 years. However, I've got well over 35 years in doing this kind of stuff. And so I've invested a lot of my life in guitar amplification and building fine guitar amplifiers. And I didn't want to just see all my hard work just all of a sudden end, so.
And neither did your fans of your work.
Exactly. So I started kind of putting out the word that I was looking for somebody to carry on the brand, because I don't have any kids, I don't have any nieces or nephews that are interested in this business. So I needed to find an outside source to do so. And so I did the normal drill that one does. I called a bunch of friends in the industry, colleagues, kind of put the idea out there. And at about that same time that this was happening, I was approached by Boutique Amps, by Avi Elkis, to design a module for their Synergy system. They wanted, because they were doing all these modules that would all represent all the various boutique amp builders that have been around in modern times. And so in doing that process, I got to know Avi better. And also I got to know their company better because they did a killer job on the module, and I was really impressed. So then we started discussing what it might look like if Boutique was to carry on the Soldano brand name. And everything looked good. They have the resources, they have incredibly talented people in their organization, and they have the passion for building really great amps. I mean, they've done miraculous stuff for Dave Friedman. They've taken over Tone King and made it better than it's ever been. Bruce Egnator is their first brand. I mean, it's just all these great Morgan amps, and
it seems like such a great match, because people, you have to understand that building custom amps and the circuitry and the design, it's a lot of labor and it's very expensive. So you might be thinking, well, why not go to like one of the big amp companies, and it's like, they're really not interested in a small amount of amps being built. Am I right? It's not going to pencil for them.
It's not only not going to pencil for them, but also they don't have the capability of building something of this high of quality. They'll send their circuit boards over to China to have them stuffed by a robot, soldered in a wave soldering machine. And you can't build amps like this that way. You've got to hand solder the components. You've got to dress the wire leads by hand. You have to, there's a lot of physical mechanical assembly.
And that point-to-point wire, that takes a long time. That is not like a 1, 2, 3 thing.
It's not a 1, 2, 3 thing at all. And you have to really have, and when you go to test the amp, you have to have an ear for what you're doing. You can't just be some robotic person on an assembly line throwing a signal on it and looking at an oscilloscope and writing A-OK in the inspection box. And so
clearly you needed to find the right partner that you would feel good to carry on the legacy.
Most definitely. And so the more I learned about boutique, the more I realized they were the guys to do it. And so, so Avi and I just kept our conversations going, and this year we decided this was the time to do it. And so here I am at NAMM, and it all happened so quickly we weren't even really able to get any product in production yet for the show. So I brought a bunch of pieces from my personal collection down, and we're going to ramp up this winter, and probably by summer we're going to have new Soldano amps shipping out of the doors in Huntington Park, California.
That is just awesome news. And just tell me briefly, I think you're going to do kind of a kind of a modern version of the SLO and also of the Hot Rod, or yeah. What amps are you going to be getting into production of your line?
So the initial, what we're going to do initially, just to get things off the ground, is we're going to continue to produce the SLO 100. I'm going to make a couple of minor tweaks to it. I'm going to put DC heaters in it because the quality of 12AX7s isn't what it used to be.
For the noise reduction.
Noise, exactly. So this will be a quick and easy way to deal with all the problems of inconsistent tube supplies. So that's going to be one tweak. The second tweak we're going to do is we're going to change the effects loop to be more pedal friendly for modern boutique pedals, because the days of the big refrigerator racks of gear are changing, so nobody's really using line level rack equipment anymore. They're going more for pedals and pedal boards. So we're just going to make a little tweak to the loop to make the amp a little bit more user interface friendly with guitar level pedals. And then the exciting new product is going to be a rework of our Hot Rod 25. We're going to add a depth control. We're going to put the clean crunch switch and the bright normal switch that we have in the SLO into this amp, make the chassis slightly larger, and we're going to introduce what's going to be the SLO 30. And then we're going to bring back the Supercharger GTO pedal in some way, shape, or form. So,
and how about cabinets?
Yes, then there's going to be a couple of 412 cabinets, 2 different 212 cabinets, and then we're also probably going to offer some different speaker options that I never offered before. Traditionally, I've always offered eminence speakers in all my cabinets because they happen to be my favorites, but there's a lot of players that like Celestion Vintage 30s, for example, G1230Hs, all great speakers, but I'd never had the financial resources to stock that many different speakers at one time in one place. So now with the resources of boutique, we're going to be able to offer a lot more options in speakers and things like that.
And anything else you want to mention?
Well, after we get those things in production, my first job is I'm going to start pulling up some of the designs of things that I've been wanting to do for a really long time, and we're going to start building some new amps that have never ever happened before.
So we are going to see some totally new kind of a magic from Mike Soldano that's never been out there before.
You certainly are, and I'm really excited to be able to do this.
Mike, it's been a pleasure. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And we wish you all the best in your new merger with Synergy and Boutique Amps. Best of luck, and keep rocking and keep the brand going.
I will do it. Thank you very much. Take care. Thanks, guys.
Checking 1, 2. Here we go. No clipping. We do not want any clipping, right, Mike?
No clipping.
No clipping.
Only in the guitar amps. Yeah, that's where we want the clip.
We want the clip there.
We want the clip in the guitar amp, not in the vocals.
Not in the vocals.
Unfortunately, it's getting noisy again.
Yeah. Well, this is pretty tight.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Good.
How's something like this look? I know I'm too tall, right? There we go. That's pretty good.
I'm too short is really what the problem is.